Damn, what was that? What was that? Like, it was almost like I had a flashback. Today, I want to talk about Jehovah's Witnesses within World War II. I wanted to make this video because my grandmother used to be in the war, and she had... I don't know much about her story. What I know of my grandmother is that she wore a purple triangle on her clothing. That's what I remember. My family told me that she did. And she also had one lung. She got sick and she lived on with just one lung. And that is, I think that is very courageous. It's not easy, you know. It's very hard to live on like that. There has been Liberation Day in the Netherlands recently. On the 4th of May, they remember the war victims in World War II. Any wars, I think you can remember any type of war that happened, the people that died and everything that happened in that time. But also then the 5th of May is Liberation Day for us in the Netherlands. We celebrate that with usually festivals and stuff, and it's hopefully a beautiful get together every year. So yeah, that's what I hope for everyone. My grandmother had a purple triangle on her shirt, is what I remember, and she was a Jehovah's Witness that was preaching within the World War II. Yeah, my grandmother was preaching within her. I think she was in her teens, so she was still very young when she was in the World War, and she served there as a Jehovah's Witness. That's all I know. Like, in my family, and maybe also people from that time, are not really talking about what happened back in the day. Maybe they wanted to shove it under the rug when they were liberated from everything. My grandmother was liberated as well, but I don't know the story. I'm so sorry. I wish I could share it with you, but I can't. I'm sorry. Because of the liberation in World War II, I wanted to look like this because I love 50 styles. I love to look like this. So I wanna say something to you, actually. Hello, person in my camera, person. Hello, looking at me. I want to say thank you so much for the engagement recently, because I have been overwhelmed almost with all the reactions and all the views, and I didn't expect it to the last video to pull off. So I'm gonna put it up there so you can watch it. Maybe you haven't seen it yet, but thank you so much. All the subscribers, all the people watching, all the people commenting, thank you so much. Thank you very much for that. I did not expect that to happen. But let's move on. Start off with, in World War I, there wasn't the purple triangle yet, but Jehovah's Witnesses were actually the Bible researchers, the Bible students, what they called them. And it was because they were usually preaching the Bible, but they were also not really listening to the... How am I going to say that? That one. For it to be safe on YouTube, because I'm not sure if I can say such things as what I want to say, because it's about World War II and World War I. First off, now for a little bit of context, of course we had the NAZIs, and we had I'm gonna call him General H or Mr. H, or like General H, I think. That's what I want to say. You know, the HITLER. Jehovah's Witnesses were not... Jehovah's Witnesses are very much... They're not willing to cooperate with any other belief system than that they are in. They were seen as like scum, or like they were not listening, had their own convictions. Later on in World War II, people that were Jehovah's Witnesses and openly Jehovah's Witness and preaching that, it was their prison shirt, and they put a purple triangle on the left side of the people's chest. Also, like for instance with their number, like their prison number or anything like that, or maybe the camp they were in as well. Yeah, they were seen as the Bible students, or the Bibelforscher in German. I hope I say that right. I think I said it right. Bibelforscher, which is basically the practitioner of the Bible. And it also kind of sounds, which is interesting, it also kind of sounds like a Bible forcer, forcing the Bible upon someone else. So in World War I, there weren't any purple triangles. They were introduced in 1936, yeah, by the regime, by the Nazi regime. It were very, like, all kinds of convictions, and religions had their own colorful triangle on their shirt, sometimes pants even. They sew that on their shirts, and so you knew what people's convictions were, and then possibly where they could be deported towards. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit nasally, but I just got sick recently. Like last week I got sick, so I'm sorry for sounding a little bit nasally. Today I wanted to talk about some stories from the internet. Actual people that were in World War II have been through the experience themselves, and as a Jehovah's Witness, what they've been through. I've been researching a little bit, and I found a book. I found a memoir, like a war memoir from Simone Liebling. She was born in the 1930s. She experienced the war as a teenager, actually, which is a time where you can really find yourself like questioning things, and discovering the true nature of people, and what they believe in and what they do. Actually, what I've seen, yeah, I've heard her tell her own story as well a little bit. And she came from France, and she was very, like, her parents were Jehovah's Witnesses. She got baptized as well. She was, at some point she lost her dad. People had to go to like surrender to the military and go there, but Jehovah's Witnesses don't do that. And Simone was experiencing that as well. She was seeing how other people were having other convictions, and she stood within the storm of everything happening, actually losing her dad. He was not dead, but she was with her mom, and they didn't see each other for a long time. Yeah, it's like Jehovah's Witnesses just don't give into what other people believe in, and they keep on preaching, and so they have to do that in secret. She saw all the gruesome things happening. Yeah, so her faith was very strong in what she did. And yeah, and because people like Simone were so completely convicted within, like so grounded in their belief and faith in this case Jehovah, it was like for the Nazis and the general age, it was not uncommon, and it was actually very common for people to be, I don't know what I can say, like abused, like hit. I know I can say all those things. And then put into prison as well, to lose your parents, to have the most gruesome things happen to you, and imprisoned, just like taking away children, and then just to, unalive them. That is, I think that's very harsh. It was a very different time. It was very divided. They had one goal, and they wanted to go for that. And I'm talking about the Nazis. Then the memoir's name is Facing the Lion. I think it was interesting to get into it a little bit. I cannot say much about it because I'm not allowed to. We are not allowed to actually read out of books unless the author wants to, is okay with it. But I don't know if Simone is still alive, by the way. I don't know if Simone is still alive, but I've seen like an interview or a video about her, and I found some information about the book. Could be interesting to look into. So there are more stories, like more well-known stories of people talking about that they were Jehovah's Witnesses and they were survivors. So, and then there are also other stories from Jehovah's Witnesses that were living within World War II and World War. There are several documentaries from these experiences. There are several memoirs. So I think it's interesting. I would definitely go deeper into it. I would do that, absolutely, because it's interesting, because like I said, like my grandmother has been through World War II. I don't know that much about it, so I would like to know more about it. The Jehovah's Witnesses don't really feel the surrender to the world. So they were the hardest ones possibly to catch, and they possibly did everything in secret, and they were trying to convince other people to come along with them. Yeah, that's what you do. That's what you do when you're during war times, is to preach as a religious person. That is very common to do. Yeah, a lot of people have died within the World War II as well. So yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses have their own way to remember these people, of course. What I know is that they help within wars to help people to have some food and whatever, like the religious aspects, and to offer love, which is, I think, a good thing to do, absolutely, for everyone. And that's a beautiful thing to do. They remember people in their own way. They possibly get together in kingdom halls and like have remembrance moments together, and maybe as a family, maybe they come together, and they as far as I've never really seen anything about them going to graves. Like, what I do know is that they remember people in their own way together. And then what happens now in war countries nowadays? Of course, there are very much in the news about wars and war countries now in Europe, for instance, but also outside of that. So yeah, we have the war in Russia and Ukraine. It's very much seen as Jehovah's Witnesses are seen as an extremist group, and they've been they got the eye of the people right now, having a war, making a war. This is what I want to say. Like, I am not trying to pick any political sides on this one, and the wars that I'm gonna talk about. I'm not gonna talk about. I don't want to discuss this. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to get political when it comes to those countries. I just want to talk about the Jehovah's Witnesses in these war countries. So I'm getting into that, okay, yes, because that is not what my channel is for, and I'm not getting into stuff that doesn't belong to where the video is about and what my channel is about. So, okay, I'm gonna be fiery a little bit. Also, I really want people to speak up about the things that they believe in. I don't want people like Exjw's Witnesses to feel like they cannot still not speak up about the things that they believe in, and I really want to talk about it, even if it's hard to talk about it. I was already talking about the Russian and the Ukrainian war. It's still hard as a Jehovah's Witness to, yeah, it's basically not that much different. I think there are more, like, times have changed, and I think that people have different ways to express themselves when it comes to what they think about Jehovah's Witnesses within a war and what happens to them is basically the same thing. You know, it's not that it's not the same thing. The only, yeah, it's like they possibly have different laws now than they used to have back in the day. They sharpened it up, you know. And these are also other parts in the world that I'm talking about right now. They are other, like, different countries from what Germany back in the day was, and the reason why wars happen are very different from what happened in World War II. But I'm gonna be honest, like, I feel like, well, it's not that different, actually. It's not that different because they still are believing, they're still trying to stand strong within their beliefs, and they want to preach it towards people, and they do it in secret, you know. And but still, then there are hundreds of people that get imprisoned still. They are removed from the places that they are trying to hide in, and practice their work and what they're doing. What I do know is people are they are, how do you say that? Like, they're moving out of the countries as well, because it's not a safe zone to be in. Yeah, I absolutely, I feel, you know, I really feel for people in those countries, in the Gaza, Israel, and the Palestinians. I feel like the only big difference is mostly, I think, mostly the religion. It's a very, yeah, they have different religions. And so the approach to Jehovah's Witnesses are also seen in a different light than they might be in the European, like the Western world more. It's still Western, or like it's actually Eastern more. I think it is different. It's viewed in a very different way. It's more Western there than it is in Gaza. It's a different approach. I'm gonna be honest, like, it was harder to find information about those countries in the Gaza than it was about the Russian and Ukrainian war. And I think that is one of the reasons. Like, it was easier to find, like, that there actually are Jehovah's Witnesses in Israel, Palestine. but it not necessarily what is happening right now. And they experience difficulties. That's what I could find, and I'm happy that I could find that information. But also, yeah, it's I wouldn't say like it's new, because how long is that war going on already? I think it's different because of that. Like because of the religious aspects and how they approach life in a very different way. And then next to Germany as well, Jehovah's Witnesses continue practicing. Yeah, there are more wars going on, like in Sudan, for instance, and whatever, like all those types of things. I'm not going too deep into this. I've already said what I think is happening, and I want to go to the conclusion of this video and what I think is true. Should you fight for your religion? Like, should you fight this hard for your religion and what you believe in, so you get imprisoned? It's or maybe even die because of it. You get unalived because you are religious and you believe in something. Should you do that? Well, first of all, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think the Jehovah's Witnesses are pretty courageous. That is something that I respect, because they are keep on standing for what they believe in. I wouldn't say that other religions are possibly, like, it's not that they are moving away from their own belief system, but yeah, I don't know. It's also it was also not good if people were turning towards Mr. like General H, General Hitler, and the Nazis. It wouldn't have been better. So in that case, it's yeah, of course, I understand that as well. Yeah, even though I'm not a Jehovah's Witness anymore, and I don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness. I think I really respect people being courageous for what they stand for. How far should you go? I think that's a very personal thing to decide for everyone. I think it's very courageous. It's you have to be a hero to do so. I wonder what they've really done to free other people. I gotta be honest that I don't really know that much about it. I just want to talk about this as a kind of a tribute towards my grandmother, what the people have been through in World War II, but also like what is currently happening. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit because I thought it was a topic that was important to talk about. Also because there's so much happening right now as well. And I wanted to discover a little bit about this topic, so I got into it, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much. Leave a like and subscribe. I would love to grow more with the people that I got already. Thank you so much that you're already here, and I want to reach more people. So yeah, share it with other people, like and subscribe, and comment again. I really love to see your comments on this one. I'm sorry if I made a mistake, maybe, I don't know. I doing my best, and I especially make these videos because I enjoy doing it and getting into these topics. I really want to discover, like, I want to know, and I want to be honest, and I want to be true about what I stand for, what I believe in. So I enjoy making the story videos, but I also enjoy, story videos are a lot easier for me than the research videos, because for me, it's easier for me. It's more natural. So yeah, I enjoy that. Thank you so much for watching. I really want to thank you. Okay. I just want to say peace.